Everything about the Gavin Christopher Newsom is an American politician and businessman serving since 2019 as the 40th governor of California. His life and everything about him. Part 6. He issued this warning after personally visiting and clearing out a Los Angeles homeless encampment without notifying the city beforehand. Newsom supports a series of tentative water-sharing agreements that would bring an end to the dispute between farmers, cities, fishers, and environmentalists over how much water should be left in the state's two most important rivers, the Sacramento and San Joaquin, which flow into the Delta. In a speech before representatives of Native Americans in June 2019, Newsom apologized for the genocide of Native Americans approved and abetted by the California state government upon statehood in the 19th century. By one estimate, at least 4,500 Native Californians were killed between 1849 and 1870. Newsom said, "That's what it was, a genocide. No other way to describe it. And that's the way it needs to be described in the history books." In October 2024, Newsom signed AB 3074, the California Racial Mascots Act, which prohibits K-12 schools not run by recognized Native American tribes from using derogatory names or mascots. In September 2022, Newsom signed Senate Bill 107 into law, making California the first sanctuary state for transgender youth. He issued an official state proclamation for Pride Month in June 2023, issued a fine of $1.5 million to a school district whose board rejected a curriculum including a biography of gay rights leader Harvey Milk, and signed a bill prohibiting schools from banning textbooks based on their inclusion of references to people from minority groups or the LGBT community. In July 2024, he signed the Safety Act, which prohibits schools from outing students' gender identity to their parents without the students' consent. Newsom vetoed several bills, passed by the Assembly by a wide margin, one of which would have instructed judges who preside over custody battles to take a parent's affirmation of a child's gender identity into account, and another of which would have mandated that insurance plans serving California residents cover the cost of gender-affirming care. In October 2023, Newsom vetoed a bill to ban discrimination based on caste, calling it unnecessary. Many Hindu rights organizations applauded the veto, saying the bill would have put a target on hundreds of thousands of Californians simply because of their ethnicity or their religious identity. Advocates for the rights of Dalits and other violently oppressed castes sharply criticized the veto. In October 2023, Newsom vetoed a bill to provide unemployment insurance to striking workers, citing excess burden on the state's unemployment system. He also vetoed a bill to expand the mandatory warning given to soon-to-be laid-off employees from 60 days to 75, extend the same protections to long-term contract workers, and prohibit employers from making laid-off employees sign non-disclosure agreements in order to receive severance. Newsom's first international trip as governor was to El Salvador. With nearly 680,000 Salvadoran immigrants living in California, he said that the state's relationship with Central America is key to California's future. He was also concerned about the tens of thousands of Salvadorans who are fleeing the smallest country in Central America for the U.S. each year. As governor of a state impacted by the debate of illegal immigration, he went to see the factors driving it firsthand and to build business and tourism partnerships between California and Central America. He said he wanted to ignite a more enlightened engagement and dialogue. On October 20, 2023, Newsom visited Israel to express solidarity with the country during the Gaza war. He met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli President Isaac Herzog, other top Israeli officials, and survivors of the 2023 Hamas-led attack on Israel. In October 2023, Newsom embarked on a week-long visit to China. It began in Hong Kong, where he attended a discussion at the University of Hong Kong about climate change. He then traveled to Beijing, where he met with Chinese President Xi Jinping, discussing issues including climate change, trade relations, and the response to fentanyl production. The visit also included stops in Guangdong, Jiangsu, and Shanghai. He called for better relations between the U.S. and China during the trip, saying that divorce is not an option for the two countries. Many journalists and political analysts have mentioned Newsom as a presidential hopeful. According to a June 2023 poll by News Nation, 22% of California voters wanted Newsom to enter the 2024 presidential election. In May 2023, Schwarzenegger said it was a no-brainer that Newsom would someday run for president. An April 2023 article published in The Hill by journalist Sharon Udison also discussed the inevitability of a Newsom presidential run. In September 2022, Newsom said that he would not run for president in 2024, citing his vulnerable 2021 recall. After his 2022 re-election, he informed White House staff that he would not challenge President Biden in the Democratic primaries. He endorsed Biden's re-election campaign on April 25, 2023. Newsom has become an outspoken critic of the policies of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, denouncing DeSantis's orchestration of the Martha's Vineyard migrant airlift. DeSantis responded by saying California has huge problems and dared Newsom to run against Biden. In November 2023, the two debated, with Fox News' Sean Hannity as moderator. In July 2024, Newsom launched a podcast, Politickin', co-hosted by Marshawn Lynch and Doug Hendrickson. After Biden's sudden withdrawal from the presidential race that month, Newsom said he would not seek the Democratic nomination and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president. After Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election, Newsom called for California lawmakers to convene later in 2024 to safeguard California's policies from the upcoming Trump administration. In December 2024, Newsom criticized Biden for pardoning his son Hunter Biden. He said, "I'm disappointed and can't support the decision." In anticipation of a potential 2028 presidential campaign, Newsom has adjusted his political approach to appeal to a broader electorate. A key shift in his strategy has been his engagement with conservative voices, including hosting figures like Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon on his podcast, This is Gavin Newsom. Newsom was baptized and raised in his father's Catholic faith. In 2008, he described himself as an Irish Catholic rebel. In some respects, but one that still has tremendous admiration for the Church and very strong faith. When asked about the state of the Catholic Church, Newsom said it was in crisis. He said he stays with the Church because of his strong connection to a greater purpose and to sort of a higher being. Newsom identifies as a practicing Catholic, saying in 2008 that he has a strong sense of faith that is perennial, day in and day out. In December 2001, Newsom married legal commentator Kimberly Guilfoyle at St. Ignatius Catholic Church. They separated in 2004 and jointly filed for divorce in January 2005, citing difficulties due to their careers on opposite coasts. Their divorce was finalized on February 28, 2006, by which time Guilfoyle was expecting a child with Eric Villency. Guilfoyle gained prominence in 2011 via a Fox News chat show. She was later named senior advisor to Republican President Donald Trump, whom Newsom has extensively criticized, and was later engaged to Donald Trump Jr. In September 2006, Newsom, then 38, briefly dated 19-year-old Brittany Mounts, a model and restaurant hostess. On January 31, 2007, Newsom's close friend, campaign manager, and former chief of staff Alex Tork confronted him after learning from his wife, Ruby Rippey Tork, that she and Newsom had an affair in 2005 when she was Newsom's appointments secretary. Tork immediately resigned. Newsom admitted to the affair the next day and apologized to the public, saying he was deeply sorry for his personal lapse of judgment. In 2018, Rippey Tork said that she thought it wrong to associate Newsom's behavior with the #MeToo movement. "I was a subordinate, but I was also a free-thinking, 33-year-old adult married woman and mother. I do want to make sure that the #MeToo movement is reserved for cases and situations that deserve it." Newsom began dating film director Jennifer Siebel in October 2006. He announced he would seek treatment for alcohol use disorder in February 2007. The couple announced their engagement in December 2007, and they were married in Stevensville, Montana in July 2008. They have 4 children. After he completed service as mayor of San Francisco in 2011, Newsom and his family moved to a house they bought in Kentfield in Marin County in 2012. After his election as governor, Newsom and his family moved into the California governor's mansion in downtown Sacramento and thereafter settled in Fair Oaks. In May 2019, the Sacramento Bee reported that Newsom's $3.7 million purchase of a 12,000-square-foot home in Fair Oaks was the most expensive private residence sold in the Sacramento region since the year began. In August 2021, Newsom sold the Marin County home for $5.9 million in an off-market transaction. He had originally put the property up for sale in early 2019 for $5.895 million. but removed the property from the market after a price reduction to $5.695 million. Newsom is the godfather of designer, model, and LGBTQ rights activist Nats Getty. In 2023, Newsom launched Campaign for Democracy, a PAC to take on authoritarian leaders in the U.S. It is thought to be a starting point for a possible 2028 presidential bid. As of July 2024, Campaign for Democracy has raised $24 million for direct contributions to candidates and other spending. The group is not subject to contribution limits, but it can coordinate with Newsom as long as he is not a candidate for federal office. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. If you have any comments, please leave us your comments because they are important to us. Thank you for watching.